be an oral presentation.
Is that?
It could be an oral presentation.
We've seen it.
Oh, it's not working?
No, I think it's my friend. Maybe that's what it
It's such a wiggle.
is. No, I don't know.
Do you want to do roll
Roll
call?
call?
Yeah. Hold on, can I clean my teeth first?
I think we're recording.
Sorry, I'll let
She's
it.
she's only got that angle, so
Thank
you're
you.
clearly fine.
All right, hold on. Okay. Welcome, Lindsay Mosca.
Present.
Kendra Foley.
Present.
John Ports.
Present.
Eileen Sue Bowser. Present. Mark Sideris.
Present. Amy Donahue.
Present.
Thank you. So public forum, don't see anybody here. Close public forum, move on to action items. First action item is the last day of school for the current calendar year, current school year. Dr.
The
Dalston?
upcoming school year.
Excellent. So,
No, this year.
Oh, sorry, apologies.
Yeah.
we can't hear you this far away.
So you need the mic.
Go ahead.
So at this point in time, the end of the school year, based upon our use of our 5 snow days, would be June 22nd, 2018. Actually, through regulations through the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, if you use your 5 snow days prior to March 31st, then even if you were to incur more snow days or days for whatever reason, you do not have to make them up. So we are confident at this point in time that June 22nd, 2018 would be the last day of school.
Hey, just a time out here. If we're taping this, we should, how can you get, should we go over there? You can't get us.
Yeah, I mean, it could make it a little easier, but I don't wanna.
Just constant
I
panic.
just think it's, all right, let's move quick, just
We'll just do a
over here.
restart.
Just move around there, because he can't even, we're just voices. We're voices. Let's just move around.
Never, all of ours.
All right.
Didn't really, think about it.
All right.
Alright. That help? Yeah, thank you for asking.
Otherwise, we're-
Appreciate it.
People are gonna really wonder after the roll what happened. It's like flash, I was
Alright.
like change outfits, costume change.
Okay, so,
Great.
that, sorry, let's go back to so the last day, we've used 5 days.
We've used 5 days, and therefore, the date of March 31st has come and gone, and at this point in time, then, we are confident that the last day of school will be June 22nd, 2018. If we were to have to take another day for an emergency reason, because of the fact that we used our 5 days by March 31st, we would not have to make that day up. So therefore, this would be the last day of school.
So this is a solid last.
It is a
day.
solid last day.
Move to accept June 22nd, 2018 as the last day of school.
A second?
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Guys have it, thank you. And next would be the school calendar for 2018-19. So we've had this before us in the past, questions were raised about it, and I know you were working with the union on some pieces of it as well, so I wanted to say a few words about that.
Excellent, thank you. So we did, after the feedback that we received from the school committee, went back to work on the calendar, and we did add February vacation, which is good. Remember, we didn't have that on the calendar. We've marked the Watertown High School graduation, which is June 7th. We've determined that the Watertown High School open house for 7th and 8th grade families will be October 16th. We've worked through a couple of questions back and forth about conferences and back to school nights. And what we have before you is what we think is going to be best moving forward for this year. The only questions that were out there that we are remaining pretty steadfast on is having our conferences in February. This is the reason for this. I know that there might be some questioning around this, is that we are moving towards the standards-based report cards for our elementary schools. And therefore, we know that that's going to come out on January 26th. It's a whole new report card, and we know there's going to be a lot of questions around student performance at the elementary level. And if we wait any longer than February, it becomes really not as important as it would have been if we did it in February. That also causes the middle schools to have their conferences earlier than they probably would have liked. So what we're going to do is do this year, especially with the first year of the report cards, gather feedback from there, and then see if that's what we'd like to do in the future. And if it isn't, then we'll move back to a later time. But for right now, this is what we think is going to be best for our students and our families.
Move to approve the final school calendar for FY19.
Second. Discussion, questions? I would note just that the first day of class, it will be Tuesday, September 4th, so the day after Labor Day. And that will apply to all grades,
Every year,
correct?
Every year.
Yeah.
always.
Pardon?
That's always, that's in the teacher contract. That
Right,
will
right,
always
no, but I mean, in the past, it's been spread out and we've done it different days, just parents may,
be- Oh, really?
yeah.
So like
2
a
years,
half
this is
day.
2 years in a row, we used to be
2 years.
Way
It's a trend.
way
Oh,
out.
yeah, we used to have kindergarten one day, blah, blah, it's been all over the place, yeah. Any other questions or comments? So all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, thank you. Okay, so the other item we have is a vote on the recommended operating budget for fiscal year 19. And I asked the superintendent just to do a quick summary of where we're at with the budget. We had the hearing on Monday, and clearly, Budget and Finance Subcommittee had quite a few meetings on this, so this is kind of our last step for this process, but you wanna say just a couple slides?
I just wanted to highlight once again that this process was driven by just basically our core values around what it is that we do, what is our mission here, and making sure that every child has a high-quality, engaging educational experience. And from that, we based this on our strategic objectives that we had determined we're gonna drive the work for this year, and right now the strategy team is working on strategic objectives for the next 3 years, but this was a great place to start in terms of the budget process. We came up with budget goals, and those 3 budget goals that were aligned with those strategic objectives were to support educators' instructional practice, to meet the needs of all students, create systems of support to achieve the district's strategic objectives, and then to ensure that existing programs and initiatives continue to the point of being sustainable well into the future. From there, we knew that we had some budget drivers, maintaining class sizes, making sure that we adjusted staffing to accommodate enrollment shifts, meeting our collective bargaining obligations, accommodating the later starts for the Watertown High School and Middle School, adjusting for projected decreases in available grant funding, adjusting for projected decreases in revenue offsets, and then maintaining our budget increases within the town council and town manager guidelines, which for this year were 5%. From there, we looked at this, just a sample of how it is. We looked at our class sizes, especially at the elementary level, to make sure that we had adequate staffing to continue to maintain our guidelines for class sizes as much as possible. From there, we crafted the budget through a very lengthy process, beginning way back in, actually, if you really want to think about it, it's the summer when we started our strategic objectives, but November is when we in earnest began the work. As you said, many meetings with the leadership team, with the admin council, individual meetings with our different building level administrators, and then the budget and finance subcommittee meetings, and then we brought you the recommended budget on Monday, and this represents what it is. And overall, the total operating costs for the district are $52,232,484. That includes the offsets of the grants and the revenue offsets that we have, which account for $4,218,961. So the total budget that will be financed through the town is $48,113,523. So that is the recommended budget at this point in time. It represents 4.9% of an increase over last year's budget. There is still remaining a little gap in terms of what would be available if we were to get to 5%. This is just by our different object codes in terms of how the money is being distributed. And I think it's important, as I said the other night, just to see Watertown is very invested in our students, invested in our staff. We have higher than average per pupil spending. And I think if you see really the bulk and the majority of that is in our teaching staff and our human capital, which is what we're all about, making sure that we have high quality teachers in our classrooms. But across the board, that is something that we are really well known for in Watertown, is supporting our educational system. We went through a process to determine priorities. We presented to you all the different priorities that we had. We were able to fund some of the priorities from that 5% increase, the difference between the 4.1 from the roll-up budget to that 4.9% that we landed on. But we were also able to look at our priorities and continue to fund priorities through reductions and reallocations. So that was a very in-depth process that we did to figure out were there areas within our budget, existing budget, that we could either reallocate or shift in order to meet the priorities that we determined were so important to really work with our strategic objectives. So in the end, we had some priorities that were not able to be funded. I think you will see those again next year because they were really important, but they didn't quite make it to the point where we could fund them. And this is what we were able to do. We were able to fund $1,122,891 worth of priorities, and that was offset by some reductions of $734,321. And then the net amount added to the FY19 recommended budget is $388,570. And then we have a little bit of a difference, like I said, we're at 4.9%, the difference being $25,930. And then we had what we could not fund, which is that last slide that I showed you, is $302,329. So I think that overall, through a lot of hard work and effort, I think that it's pretty impressive what we were able to fund in terms of the priorities that were set forth by the district leadership team and the hard work that was done by the Budget and Finance Subcommittee. And I'm very pleased with this budget, and I think it really speaks to the future of Watertown and the direction that we're headed in.
Okay, thank you very much. Questions from the committee? Any questions on the budget?
Just want to say thank you for a really smooth and transparent and responsive budget season, and I also thought you worked really well with the town, and it's been bump-free. So if anyone else has comments, otherwise I'll move to approve the FY19 superintendent's recommended
We're
budget.
gonna do it piece by piece here.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
For the
okay,
district
but
administrative
let's-
cost center.
Let other people, if they wanna speak first.
$1,783,499.
Second.
What did you had the
She
first one?
read the first one.
All right. But did anyone else wanna speak?
We can speak after.
No.
Okay,
so
so it's seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Move to approve the FY19 superintendent's recommended budget for the district curriculum cost center in the amount of $1,279,316.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Move to approve the FY19 superintendent's recommended budget for the regular day cost center in the amount of $21,426,342.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Move to approve the FY19 superintendent's recommended budget for the student services cost center in the amount of $18,193,869.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Move to approve the FY19 superintendent's recommended budget for the athletics cost center in the amount of $908,797.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Move to approve the FY19 superintendent's recommended budget for the extracurricular activities cost center in the amount of $139,786.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Move to approve the FY19 superintendent's recommended budget for the technology cost center in the amount of $758,051.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Move to approve the FY19 superintendent's recommended budget for the school facilities cost center in the amount of $3,523,864.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Move to add the sum of $25,928 to the regular day cost center of the FY19 superintendent's recommended budget, bringing the revised regular day cost center budget to $21,452,270 and the total FY19 school committee adopted budget to $48,039,451.
Second.
Discussion? So on this one, just want to say, so this is a change from the recommended budget from the superintendent. And do you want to speak to it just briefly?
Sure.
Say what it's for?
Yep, absolutely. So on Monday night, the school committee moved forward the recommendation to have 4 buses to transport our students for the elementary school and the middle school. We know that we have yet to fully account for 4 buses. We're going out to bid. We're not completely sure what that cost will be, but we know that it will be above what we had budgeted for. So this additional funding will help to offset the cost of that 4th bus. Then it will be incumbent upon the district to be able to determine how it is that we'll cover the rest. And that will probably come forth to you in terms of how it is that we determine we're gonna do that.
Okay. Any questions? Other questions on that? So all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes
I
have
think
it.
we're missing one. Now we need a recommendation to recommend to the town manager the 48 million.
Okay, we can,
I would suggest that we
okay,
add that motion. I
okay.
make a motion that we recommend to the town manager, the school committee adopted budget of $48,039,451.
Second.
Discussion? Go ahead.
You guys are gonna hear this a lot.
Okay.
I'm very appreciative of the work that's been done. It's such a breath of fresh air, having been around here for so long, seeing how things used to be, and we get, we change things, and we did the same things, and you'll hear me say this when you come in front of the council. As a member of both boards, I'm very appreciative of the efforts that you and your team have put to this budget and to the thoughtfulness that you have approached this, and how you made so many different changes. And I think it's great for the district, and it's great for the community, so thank you.
I just wanted to say that being new, I don't know what it was like before, but by all accounts, it wasn't that pleasant. I'm just saying that it's just so nice as somebody new to see such a high standard being set for the town in, how you budget and what it means to spend money to improve education, so thank you.
Any other comments? I would just echo those comments. I do think that this is, set a standard and a practice that I appreciate Superintendent, but particularly Mary for really doing this. I think, I know it was a team effort, but really Mary set the standard here and really started it last year, even before Superintendent came, and so very appreciative of that. Unfortunate that we won't have you next budget cycle, but as I've said before, I think you've created a template of how to move forward, and that's become something that whoever the next person is that takes on that responsibility is going to have in front of them okay, this is how we do it, and so I'm very appreciative of that. I think it consistent with what Mark is saying, and I think that's very much appreciated.
I left lots of breadcrumbs.
That's great. And I have her cell phone number.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so do I.
So we have the last one, is to recommend to the town manager. So just as a way of comment more for the public, so the process here, the budget will move from us to the town manager. The town manager then puts together a townwide budget and includes this in it. However, what he focuses on, what he puts in is, well, he has discretion actually. He can put in whatever he wants technically, but he will have what we present to him, and then he will present a total budget that will include a line for education, and that's what will go before the town council. And the town council has the right to, will vote on that line, but will not vote on individual components of it like we have here. They will just vote on the education budget line as a single line. I guess it's salaries and materials, I suppose. You vote both or just one?
No, we just vote the one line. That's why I think it's important that we just
Okay.
include the one total dollar amount
Yep.
as the recommended
Yep.
item, the recommended dollar amount to the manager.
So in essence, the school committee's responsibility is really kind of within the budget, if you will, within that $48 million, and then the town council will vote that 48, but they typically do not have as much, don't have any legal involvement within that budget. And we will make a presentation whenever those are set up at some point in May. We'll do a presentation to the town council on the budget. And then the other comment I would make is that we've divided this up into 8 different cost centers, which what that means is by voting in this way, when there is a transfer needed at some point during the year of monies from one cost center to the other, that comes to us and we vote that. On Monday, which is what we did, we voted a movement of funds between the cost centers. So that's the kind of oversight that we have during the school year, during the fiscal year. Any other questions or comments? So, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you very much. Last public forum, nobody's here for that. Any new business? New business? Okay, next meeting, we do have a meeting April 23rd on a Monday, and we'll have more details about that coming forward. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you, Mike. Thank you for coming.